Hello! Today I'll be showing you how to edit save files in Exanima, including quality, the condition, the color, and the attributes of the item. Attributes being whether it's thick, light, heavy, etc. First thing you want to do is go into your browser. Google and then Wiki for Exanima. So Exanima Wiki. Should be the first one. In this place, you'll just find everything. Go to Exanima and then the Items tab. At the bottom, you'll find Spreadsheet. So for people who are doing save editing before, this is probably something you used. For example, I wanted like the repair orb, you just go down to repair orb. Ignore everything on the bottom. What you want is the one at the top, saying that it was managed by this guy, links, it was made automatically. It will give you a link to the tool that they used. Click on that. Now, what you're looking for is Drinky Car and the README. Just ignore everything else. So download Drinky Car. There we go. Save, and go to the README. Double click. Here you'll find the latest Python download. If you already have Python downloaded, you can just use that. Maybe it's not the latest one, you probably want to change that. Either way, you can go here, download Python 3.10.2, save, and then you can install it. Probably say install. You might have to restart your computer in order to do that. Probably should, if that is the case. If not, then it'll be fine. After you have Drinking Car downloaded, I like put it into a folder like this. Just name it Drinking Car, doesn't matter. Just put it in. Now when you first download it, you won't have the parentheses in there. It'll just be like this. So I'll just change it to that. In this case, we should now navigate to your Exanima save game. Now, people who've done editing before, you probably know where this is, or if you backed up your save files, you should know this as well. Percent app data, percent, and it'll just put you in the folder. Users, name, app data, roaming. Go to the Exanima folder, and you'll find all of your Exanima save logs here. Now, 001, 002, it goes up in ascending order from the oldest one to the newest one. So 001 would be your oldest save file, and 002 would be the newer one, 003 would be an even newer one, and so on and so forth. Now you can see which was your latest build by looking at when the date was modified. So if today is like the 25th and you see one that says the 25th, it's probably the one you're looking for. In this case, now that we have this open, we should now open up command prompts in order to use the Drinky Car Python script. If you have Windows 11, you probably can just right click and open a Windows terminal, and there you go. If you can't do that for any reason, just go to the bottom left, command prompt, there we go. Right click on the very top, Control C, type in CD, space, open quotation marks, right click or Control V to paste it, and quotation marks, and press enter. You're now in Drinky Car. Now that we have this open, we now have to decompile your save file into folders that you can actually edit. Easiest way to do this is by going to here, type in Drinky, or just drink, and then press tab, it'll automatically put out the rest. Space, quotation marks, or if you have Windows 11, you can just right click, copy as path, and then Control V or right click. It'll do this all for you. Now, if you don't have that, you can just do the same, click them here, quotation mark, Control V, backslash, and then the name of Exanima. So Exanima 001.rsg, and then end quotation mark. Press enter, and it'll start decompiling it. You'll see in your Exanima save folder that there is Exanima 1, 2, 3, whichever worlds, pretty much levels you've been in, and then the world folder. I don't know what this is. Now, you're probably looking for is in the worlds folder or whatever level you're in so far. So if you're in level 5, you can just ignore the rest. You probably want either you want this or this. And you'll know in the future. So just click on Exanima001.rsg world for your character, Baron, and everything that's on your guys' bodies. Now, at this point, I'd recommend you install Notepad++ or really any text editor. Notepad you probably do with, but it probably wouldn't be pretty. Either way, edit with Notepad++. Here, let me just close this. Let me try to do that again. Edit with Notepad++. And you should just get this. Now, just to clarify, ID1 would be your character. Now, in here you'll find everything about your character that you would ever want to know. Like voice, gender, whatever. Anything that's on your body would be apparel. Focus, stamina, this is just your guy's health and stamina, I guess. Either way, you want to go down to anything that's in your inventory right here. Now, if you want to edit stuff on your guy's character, like that he has on his body right now, you can just look up everything on this over here. And if you want to edit things in his inventory, just go down to items. Now you'll find 3 different types of items. You'll find one with DB World, which is in the World database. You'll find one with DB Local, which is in the Local World database. So if you're in the level 5, you'll find it in the level 5 folder. If you're in the Worlds, if it's on Worlds, you'll find it in the World folder, which is the one we're in right now. This one right here. And you'll find the last one, which is neither of them. Well, this just means that it's a generic item. So something like a health salve or a repair orb, something like along those lines, that'll be in here, and you'll find it with a flag. Now, in that case, the flag will be whether or not it's been used or not. So for the health orb, I'm pretty sure if you just set the flag to zeros, it won't be used, and you can use it again. Same for the health salve. I think that one's also zeros, and then it won't be used. You can use it again. Although for the health salve, you have to clarify. You probably have to tinker with yourself because I could be wrong. Now, if you want to edit a procedurally generated item, like in the any apparel stuff like that, there's really no easy way to know which item you're looking for because it gives you the ID, and this isn't even the ID of the item. It's just like to know for the game to know what it's talking about, not for you. The way I would do it is I would change the position. So the one on the left is the X position, so the horizontal. The one on the right is the Y position, so the vertical. And and for the horizontal, minus means it's on the left more. So minus 42 means that this is more to the left than 400. The Y position seems to be a little bit different. Having a negative value seems to mean more on the top. So minus 200 is more upwards than minus 70, which is more upwards than 42. So on and so forth. 60 is lower than 42. It's probably, I think that's just how computers do it. I have no idea. So you can just group it, items, like to put them all in the bottom right corner and just try to find the one with the highest X value and then the highest Y value, and you should be good. Now when you find your item, you just try to find the ID in the database world or the database local. Where you find that database is kind of dependent. So for the database world, where you would find it is Exanima RG world. It's where your characters are, and it'll be the database objects. Pilot. Show more. Edit with Notepad. Now this is kind of ugly because you want to be able to see both the ID here and then the ID here. So what you can do is just right click this tab right here, go all the way to the bottom, and move to other view. There we go. You can see both at the same time. Now we have this open. Let's try to find the item. Now I know for my character that everything in my inventory isn't procedurally generated, so I'll just go to one on apparel, like right here. And let's find one in the database world. So let's do X24. So ID 21024 right here. Now, where you find the procedurally generated stuff is at the very back. Go to the very end, go to the left a little bit, and you'll see a giant wall of bytes right here. It's actually has an iconic look as long as you go to the very end. Now, where you find the wall of zeros, right here, start for where your item is, count 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th and 6th, that is the condition of the item. So whether or not it's in terrible condition, flawless condition, somewhat worn, stuff like that. Now, the higher the number for condition, the worse condition it is. So FF, which would be the highest, would mean it's in terrible condition, absolute worst. 0, means that it's in flawless condition, best condition ever. So let's just set this to 0, 0. All right, now it's in good condition, or the flawless. Now, on the 7th and 8th, this is the quality of the item. This works opposite of condition. So the higher the number, the better quality the item is. So FF will mean exceptional. 0, 0 will be worst quality ever. So let's set this to FF. Now to clarify, from what I know so far, even if something is not perfect, like FE or FA, so a little bit lower than FF, it will still be considered exceptional quality. So if you're ever doing tests where you're trying to see whether or not one piece of armor set is better than the other, or one sword is better than the other, make sure to set the qualities to the same and make everything the same, right? Same qualities, same condition. Don't just assume that because it's exceptional when they're the same. It doesn't work like that. Now, so to reiterate, condition on the 5th and 6th, quality on the 7th and 8th. And for condition, the lower the better, quality the higher the better. Now, for the attributes, which would be like whether or not it's thick, whether or not it's light, stuff like that. Where you find that would be a little bit to the left on this row right here. When it's a 0, like that, you'll know that it's nothing. So it's just leather coat. If it's a 1, it's light. So a light leather coat. 2, heavy leather coat. And then my favorite, 3, it's a thick leather coat. Now, when you're doing editing, at least especially on this part, you might find an item or a bunch of them like up here, where it has zeros in these two spots. It's still in the same spot. So this is still 3, and this is still 1 or 0. If you set this one to any other one, it will probably crash your game and your save and corrupt everything. So don't do that. Make sure you do it on this line, especially. Now it goes higher than 3. There's 4, 5, 6. I think there's even up to 8 or 7. I didn't have time, but there's like rainforest, hardened stuff. Anything really in that line is in there. Sometimes you'll find an item like a buff leather coat where you think it's an attribute and it's not. You can have a thick buff leather coat. That I did not know. And maybe you know now. So this is where you find the attributes of the item. On this wall of zeros, all the way down here. Count 4. On the 5th and 6th, that is the condition. Lower better. Quality, higher better. Now, for the color of the item, their coloring system is strange, to say the least. You'll find it in these 2 bytes right here. You'll find 3E, 2D, 03s, that's common, 07, that's really common as well. Now, on the left side, oh shoot, let me go back. Yep, so on the left side of this byte, this one is the actual color of the item. So 0 means that it's white, black, stuff like that. Usually just white. 1 is like a pink. 2, I think, is like an orange, and it keeps on going up there, all the way to F. Now, on the right side, this will be the darkness of the item. So if you have a 0, 0, this is pure white. 03, maybe like a gray. 07, like a dark gray, and then like some sort of F. Oh shoot, let me just undo that. dark gray, and then maybe like an F will be like a black, really. So if you have a 1, 0, this one would be more akin to a very light pink. 0, 1, 3 will be like a darker pink, almost like a pinkish red. 4, 5, that's like as close as you can get to a red as possible. I've tested. And then anything up there is getting into brown territory. 2, same thing. It would be like a really light yellow or like a light orange, and then it just keeps on getting darker from there. So, yep, this would be the color. You just go from here. This wall of zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be the condition. 7 and 8 would be the quality, and then this wall of 1s, 2, 3s, and 0s, this one would be the attributes, thickness, and stuff. So that's all I know. If you want to copy items, like copy and paste them, what you can do is you can just double tap, Control C, copy the entire item, go to the very bottom, create a new line, and then Control V. You create it, you just duplicated it now. Now, of course, the ID, it has to be different because you need a unique identifier. So let's just copy, look at this. For D, what goes over D, what goes after D, I mean, it's E. So DE, there we go. New item confirmed. If you want to add this into your inventory, make sure to copy something like this. Paste it. Change that to the same ID, so 4E, 4E. It's in the world database, so... wait, is this in the world database? This might be local, actually, I forget. Okay, no, this is world. So it's in the world database, so keep it in DB world. And just... yeah, this should be really all you need. There might be flags here, but I don't know. This should be fine. Just make sure that if you copy the item, don't copy it from here, because this is missing the position part. And once you try to put all these changes back into the save file, it's just not going to work. So remember, if you're copying from here, just remember to put the position in afterwards, or just copy it from the item's place to begin with. And that should be it. Now, a few other things. If you want to change your skills, you can just add it to the end. So this 4 would be like thaumaturgy-ish. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just add 2 and 3. 2 and 3. There we go. They just added. And now we have to change the XP to match these skills. So it's a multiple of 5,000. So because we have 5 items, it needs to be 25,000. So let's change it. And there we go. They're maxed out. Other things you can change. For example, this is my character, so he doesn't have that. Like combat skill, you can just change this to 100. For Darren, trustworthiness, you can change this to like whatever. You can just change Darren to whatever you want. And give him items, stuff like that. And that should be everything. Of course, if you want to delete items, you can just take it out. It's a little bit more complicated than that because then the IDs wouldn't match. So like if you just take out this one right here, then there's 26, no 27, and a 28. That might be a problem. I mean, the most guaranteed way to do that is just change this to 27, and then change this to 28, go all the way down and do that, and then find out where they go to. So like 27 would be 20. It'd be a pain in the ass, so just don't try that. All right. And that should be it. That should be everything. So let's just save this. Control S or save. Click in here and save. Although I like Control S. You'll know it's not saved because it'll have a red floppy disk instead of a blue one. And now that should be it for database world. If you want to change database local, just make sure, like, go into your save file and just look at which level you're in. So if you're in level 5 or level 4, go back to this place, Exanima, and look for it. So level 4 would be 04, level 5 would be 05. There we go. Same thing, database objects, open, edit with notepad. There we go. Move to other view. Now, database local, just try to find 0EE. Of course, this won't match up because I don't think 05 or 04 is the one we're in, but it doesn't matter. Get my point across. You can just go to the end, do the exact same thing, Control S, save it, and then there you go. Now, once you're all done, you can just minimize or exit out of this and go back to your command prompt. From this, you want to type in drinking, tab, space. Find the places you changed. So we changed like world and Exanima 05, for example, because we're in the 5th world or whatever. Right click this, copy as path, and then right click. So drinking car, a space, and then this. Add a space at the end, and then go back to the save world. So 001 RSG, the one we changed. Copy as path, or same thing, you can just do it manually. So this here, Control V, backslash, Exanima 001.rsg, and then enter. So this will put everything, all the changes we did in RSG worlds, and put it into the save file. Here we go. I think this worked. I'm not sure, actually. I might have made a mistake. I don't know. Either way, that's what you do. And then for the 05, all you have to do is change this part, and it's just the same process. So we can just go back to the back. Exanima 05. Yep, that's the same. And then enter. It'll take a little bit. And there we go. It'll save. And that's it. So we can go back, open up Exanima, and your character should have changed. Now, when you're doing this, I do recommend that you back up your saves because, as you saw, if you make a change that ends up like crashing your game, you won't be really able to undo it. So back up your saves if you are skeptical. Other than that, that was the save editing that I figured out. And I guess I wish you guys the best. Goodbye.